Hello everyone, for the last video of this year. So this will be the last video I post before the New Year's. So this video will come out probably right a couple minutes after I finish recording this, once I upload it. So this video is going to be about the three characters we've been working on. The Auto Bomber, the Poison Blade Vortex character, and the Bleed Bow character. A better version. So we've done all three of these characters already. Two of them I think was done in this league a little differently, and then this character right here was done in Harvest League, if I'm correct. Except this was more of a budget-friendly version. I did it back then. This is more of the very expensive version. So all three of these characters right now are level 80, so they do have ways to go. Every point, every level all three get are gonna be just life. So it's definitely quality of life upgrades, which they do need badly. So this will be a short video on all three of them. Just a quick show you what they can do. Then eventually, when we get into their actual three separate videos, or maybe six separate, well, we'll figure out there. Each one I might get one or two. They'll be more in depth in the skill trees, the show you them doing Cyruses and Conquerors, the map speed, going over the gear options, more stuff like that. Because a lot of stuff still need a lot of improvements to go. And at level 80, I don't want to put build guide. I have all three POBs will be in the link description below. I did work on all of those, so they are updated. So this is the Auto Bomber, the first one. So this one, I self-crafted, sort of self-crafted the boots, the gloves, what was it, the helmet. Yeah, and I just bought the shitty chest just for Frenzy and Explode. And I bought the weapon pre-done because I didn't feel like sit there trying to make this. It's easy to make, it's just, I didn't want to put the time into it, so I just bought it for 40x. Power charge, most important thing on the helmet. And also the Herald of Thunder reduced mana costs. Boots are just Tailwind and chance to avoid elemental alignments. We just awaken or slam the two together. Life are energy shield, life, resistance, headhunter, and badge. So in the weapon is we try to make each of these videos 5 minutes, so we try to go through pretty quickly. It's pretty much power charge, increased damage, power charge, lightning damage, and chance with chance of shock, and lightning damage, extra chaos. There are the weapon is extremely good. You do need to make sure it's Shaper though for the power charge, I believe, and I think Shaper should be So Shaper is +1 power charge. And then increased damage per power charge is Crusader. You gotta slam both together, so that's why it's expensive. And you wanna make sure you have the 100% increased global chance though on top of it. And then you do run the dual Storm Secret rings for the frequency, so you'll see more what they do. But these rings can't kill you, so you do have to make sure that you do have Leech on your tree. So that's why, like, I have the Glorious Vanity of Doriani with the lightning damage leeches life here. There is another leech up here, I think. Yeah, there's a lightning damage leech's energy shield up here. There's one more leech. I think it's over here. Yeah. Tack leech. There's leech all over the place on this tree. But I'll go more over this on the next video. They're like, on this build alone, if you do want to make it, you're looking at about between 300 to 400 exalts, to give you a heads up. Probably around the 300 mark, just because of how expensive this gear is, and we still haven't put these two in yet. Like, I thought this was a level 520 when I bought it. It's a 620, so this is way overpriced, but you do run this just to run the double curse. And then Thread of Hope is what's going to go here when we start getting the next 2 levels, to start getting like the AoE, the life, the crit. So there'll be more crit, like a lot of crits missing. So let me do a quick show plays. So right now I don't have anything good to show, so I'm just going to show you a quick Breestone and on Rich on all 3 characters. But it's pretty much your, music helps too. Our Bleed Immune Flask, Cinderwealth crit, your Bottle Faith, your Curse Immune crit flask, and your Movement Speed flask. So I'm going to go over the gems though later. So if you do want to see the gems in advance, you can see it, but pretty much just cast your thing down and you just run. And it absolutely makes, I've already done tier 16 maps with this build, no problem. Main thing is, since we know that next league is going to be a mapping league, I am probably going to end up building this build just not with these type of gems. I don't think they're going to exist. I'll probably build it with the sort of way I did in Harvest League with just basic gems. But the build will still work with that. But the only difference really is you're going to have the you just want to have the Arctic Armor permafreeze. That's the only difference really. But the build's extremely good. It's extremely probably one of the most fun builds I played. The build can do Cyrus. We just gotta make sure this one can. We should be doable. You just have to make sure you Cinderwell Flask is probably your most important thing though, just to make sure you don't die. Otherwise it will kill you. Because Cinderwell gives you a leech, that's why we gotta see how it works on Cyrus. But pretty much with Next League being all about mapping pretty much, and the new boss Atlas system, all the endgame system and all that. This build can be a very good build for Next League with how fast it is through maps. But this ability probably won't build until maybe month two or maybe 2.5 in the league, unless you get crazy currency within that first couple weeks. Just because it runs Headhunter, which is all based on too if we get on the map mod or not. Badge, which could be cost. I mean, Headhunter and Badge alone are about 100 exalts together or more. And also the weapons are. It's a very expensive build overall. Definitely something I probably will end up trying to build next league. And the other two characters, the Bleed Bow and... So we're on the boss already. So we just run up, Chris, and hit Flask, and he's dead. But yeah, I might just show you that quickly. So I'm trying to go through this pretty quick. So that's it for this character. So like now our point to put in probably going to be the Thread of Hope now. So let's jump over to the second character real fast. So the other one, we'll do the Bleed Bow next. So this build also is all self-crafted pretty much. Just gotta sort of rush this a little bit faster. So this character is pretty much like the Bleed Bow we played early in the league, and I've done a couple times. It's, you know, your self-craft. I would probably self-craft this Cinderwell Bow. It's you need corroded fossils. If I can find my fossil tab. So it's pretty much you want the Potentate Chromatic, the dual resonator, with the corroded and the jagged. This will give you a high chance of getting bleed, and pretty much just keep slamming a Citadel Bow. Item level I think it's 83, until you see the bleed mods, the 60% chance for bleeding inflict more damage. Then look at it from there. Then from there see like did you get the other bleed modifier, did you get the fizz damage, did you get flat fizz, and then from there you want to metacraft it. It took me a long time to get this bow. It was not easy. It was probably the hardest thing to get. The helm, either you can do Flesh and Stone with 30% reduced mana cost, you can do the Malevolence one, reduced mana cost, or the Pride reduced mana cost. You need one of those ones, and it's just hard. You pretty much want to get on this an armor base helmet, and then pretty much I just bought the base. I had it on there, and I just pretty much just crafted whatever life resistance on it, and we pretty much just got taking armor, so we just kept taking it. This was self-crafted. Pretty much I took the Malevolence, tier 1 Malevolence ring or amulet, and I took a Fizz damage over time amulet, and I merged them together, and I ended up getting projectile pierce additional target, which was surprisingly intelligence and mana. So it's not bad. Anointment is crystal skin. And then I pretty much just had open prefix, and I couldn't really find anything good to put on here, so I just put non-channeling skills cost less, just to make this cost 16, to make it a little easier to use. But it's definitely not needed. If I was gonna redo this though, I could fix it and just put on there suffixes cannot be changed, scour it off to get rid of the prefixes, and then just put on the missing endurance, frenzy. So I put a frenzy one on here instead. So then I would have permanently all three of these up at all times. This was self-crafted. It's fizz damage over time with bows by additional arrow, scour off multi just to get resistance and life on it. Both of the rings. So these rings, you just want fizz damage, life on one ring, and then the other ring, try to get fizz damage, life, and vulnerability if you can. If you can't, you pretty much want to make sure you have open prefixes, so that one of them you can, or suffix I mean, so that one of them you can put on endurance and frenzy, and put the other one here, and you put the other one here, so you permanently would have all three. And then pretty much the chest is just your reduced mana cost, your split arrow, just because split arrow costs so much without it. It's really hard to sustain the mana. Especially if you don't have light level 4. And then pretty much, life, resistance, explode mod, prefix on there. It's a really nice chest. It was hard to find this one, but it's not quality perfectly, but it's good for now. Boots, it's just your, a chance to avoid elements. If I was going to do this, I'd probably merge it with the Tailwind boots, like how our ones are on the other character, and then go from there. But these are good enough for now. Rasha's Coil is best in slot. It's either between Rasha's Coil or Headhunter. Rasha's Coil is better though, just because the damage it gives is better for your build over Headhunter. And then the gloves, they're pretty much, ignore the Redeemer on it. You don't need it. It's just life and resistance. And evasion rating if you can, because you convert all evasion to armor, so it's more armor. And then make sure you can craft chance to avoid elemental immunes. Same with the helmet. So you have right there. And then that's it from here. Yeah. Flask, it's the same thing. The bubbling, your bleed immune, curse immune, fizz damage reduction, your movement speed, Cinderwell, poison immune, and movement speed. This flask could probably change. I'll go over Pantheons probably next video because I didn't even do the Pantheons yet. I still haven't done them. And then pretty much it's your normal. So like right here is why we convert everything. So this node lets us convert all of our energy shield to armor. So that's why we have 5,000 armor, about 45 fizz damage mitigation. And there's still a lot of armor missing on the skill tree. We just don't have the levels right now to get it. But like here, your Thread of Hope for your medium to get your 2 right here. This will give you the +1 minimum frenzy and endurance. That's why you want it. If you don't have this jewel, just skip these 4 points and get them later when you have the jewel. Might of the Meek up here just to get more dex, strength, life, pretty much from these ones up 3. And then when we get started, we go over this when we push the armor. There's a huge armor boost up here from the Might of the Meek. And it's pretty much the usual. The Lines I Fall. If this build is a potential league starter for next league for me. So if I do have to get the Lines I Fall early. But I'll go over, and it's like the Resident Techniques. Your Corrupted Blood Jewel. You don't need the Corrupted Blood, I just got it to have a quality of life. Mana Reserve. Because like all of our skill points now in this build are probably going to go for armor. So like we're going to shoot up this way. Shoot these 2. For now, probably those ones. There's more life up here. These 2 spots. And it's usually your bleed pops. So you like labs right here to get your bleed explosions going. This is your huge damage. That's why these 2 builds, this one, the next one, you do want the first 2 labs. Ideally, the first one you have to have on the assassin, on the next character. And this just helps you a lot. Giving you the main chance to bleed, more bleed damage, and then that's when you can go with your arena outmatch later. But that's for the next video. That's pretty much the base. So let's do the map quickly. Same thing, let's do Enrich. If I can click on it. There we go. So the build pretty much is like all the other bleed bows. Shoot, run, shoot, run. Because you do have to make sure you play smart with this build. But the damage is extremely good. I forgot the exact numbers on this build, but we'll figure out later when we see the actual POBs. That's why if you want to see, just check out the POBs in the description below. If you want to see exactly, but we should have the next videos coming out soon. I just want to get these characters level 90 first before I actually put out the actual build guides for them. But just at least you can see close a little bit what they do. But pretty much once you hit the enemies with the split arrow, but it's a very fast mapper, as you can see with the explosions going off. And then you have your puncture for boss damage. And puncture alone I think is about like 4 million damage once you get the bleeds going. So the puncture is extremely strong. When you get your snare and arrows down to make it so that they're always moving. It should have a strong defensive layer compared to the one we played earlier in this league. This one we played earlier had a lot of problems. Because I think this one is much better. Because you can clear fast. And it's also missing some top gems too. I think we don't have a Awakened Fork yet. There's no Awakened Chain. Because like the next video we'll go over like changes I would make, what changes can be done, how I would actually take this as league start, which path skill for this tree I would make. We'll go over more of that in the next video. This one's just to show you quickly what we've been working on. Because doing all 3 characters did take a lot of time. We spent over 500 exalts also to make all 3 of these. Just because also I didn't feel like keep switching gems, so I just bought multiple copies of gems. So for boss, we switch stance, go in, put both these down, and just punch them. Just don't do that though. So this boss I do have a lot of problems with, just because this happens every time. So every time for some reason on this boss I do have that problem is I can't, that white cloud thing he does instant kill you. I'm not sure if it's chaos that he does to you or it's not. I think it's chaos. So yeah, the build suddenly does need more defensive layer. That's why this build does die often. But you do have to make sure you do play bleed bow. You did have to make sure you watch the mechanics very carefully. Because this build is definitely not a tank build at all, and it cannot kill as fast as the auto bomber can. Or as fast as the golems and all that. But you have to be careful. Plus the build should do much better when we start showing like Cyrus and all that. So here. There we go, now it's starting to work. Yeah, see, it's that white move that kills me. And I gotta make sure I gotta fix the placement of everything. And then he dies. So yeah, there's definitely a problem. I gotta work on the placement of these skills. Because trying to jump from R to T up to this button, it's really difficult. So I gotta redo all this too. It's a complete mess. But this build still had a lot of work to do. It's not as strong as the auto bomber, since I don't have. It's just the way the build always is, bleed bow. It's a lot of more mechanic release. You know, shoot, walk around. Definitely has a lot of work still to go on this build. Let's jump over to the third build real fast. So this is also another league star potential. Is the poison blade vortex, which a lot of people are probably going to play. Because the build is so strong. Because I think this build is around like 4 million damage. So it's pretty close to the same thing as the usual combo. The cold iron points. There you go. So you have the one cold iron point and the one kitchen knife for mapping. Since next league's all about mapping, it's the best combo to go with. And bosses, you just switch to a second cold iron. Cold irons are huge because it does boost your level of blade vortex. By anywhere from 3 for 1, 6 for 2. So it's just huge. And then pretty much it's your wither spell totem combo, the usual. So devouring DM is not fully needed. These are super expensive the first week of the new league. They're about 5 exalts or a lot more. Because they only drop a mastermind. Same with Cinderball Flask. So pretty much if you have, so this is why I'll explain this more in the next video because it's very confused. And also you can play the self-inflicting poison build if you want to play for more damage. I just try to play without it because getting a Malhelm is not easy because it's a Legion drop only. So if you have the helmet, you can run the even without the helmet too. You can do the Herald of Agony, Flesh and Stone, and Malevolence, and it's throwing the lightning. Like Skitterbots, I can't even use them. They're in here because I was supposed to use them, but I don't have the mana. I'm short 8% reserve mana to use it. I gotta figure out how to fix that to put them on there eventually, because it's about a 400,000 more damage with Skitterbots on. But like this helmet's really nice just for the fact that it puts energy shield as your mana. So if you do reserve 100% mana, you don't care. You still have enough to cast your Blade Vortex skill. Because you don't really see you going down, it's not going down fast enough. And then pretty much, so the link on the kitchen knife I don't like at all. I hate rolling blades. I put it on here because I thought it'd be good, but rolling blades only good because it's with the fortify. But I might change this to flame dash and just drop with like blood magic and something else. Just reduce. I just hate the fact that you can't go through walls. That's why I hate the skill so much. But right now also like in presence, the chaos one, I don't know if this is best in slot even. It's good for 40% more damage. And also like life, resistance. But I don't know if it's best in slot or not. And also I forgot how to make Despair and Aura with this fund. I just can't remember, so I left it alone. And also Dirty Techniques is what you want to anoint. Both rings are crap, to be honest. All I did was just Essence Slam the more chaos damage on both of them, and just took whatever I got. I got lucky, and this one rolled Intelligence, Life and chaos damage on it, and more mana, just because it's what you need. And also you need somewhere in between all the rares. You need its strength, you need intelligence somewhere if you want to save 2 skill points. Carcass Jack, I don't even think this is best in slot, to be honest. This is good just because of the AoE it gives for your Blade Vortex, make it bigger. But Exploding Chest might be better. I don't have the currency. I might test it later. But I've seen people run Carcass Jack, Explode Chest, a basic 6-link chest, and clearing no problem whatsoever. So like on a League Start, I would just look for the colors on a 6-link Val chest piece and just get it. And it'll carry you no problem whatsoever. Boots, movement, speed, resistance, and life. That's it. Belt, chaos damage, you don't really need it. It's just there for quality of life. Life and resistance is the most important thing. And the if you don't have this one, you can always get a strength belt, so you don't need a strength on the rings, or one of the rares. It's a lot easier too. And then the jewel is just corrupted blood with life damage over time. Gloves, chaos damage over time, life resistance. That's it. And then we go over. So the most important skill, if you're leveling up as a new character, is Plague Bear. Get 6 Plague Bears in offhand and run them. Let me do so fast we don't talk about this. Otherwise, this video will go too long. Because Plague Bear does so much damage. It's probably your strongest clear speed. It kills bosses. It kills maps so fast. The usual Blade Vortex. Make sure it's Val. It's huge. Go in your Val side areas during League Start. Get it. If you get one, you get a Val or Corrupt them. It's amazing damage this does. And usual, we'll go over it later actually. If you want to see these early, go on the POE to check them out, but we'll go over it more later. And then Flask is the same thing. Stotching again for the third one. Another movement speed Flask like the last build. This Flask is nice because it gives you perfect. We don't care about perfect ending because we already anointed. We took the skill point, but it's more damage, so it's really nice Flask. Your phasing Flask and movement speed Flask. That's pretty much the main thing. Oh yeah, so if you're doing this for League Start, this needs to be your first slab. Once you get this, your damage skyrockets like crazy. Lab 1, Lab 2. Then 3 or 4 is whatever you feel like. And then, if you don't have the Diadem Deity, you do need to go up here to get an Enriched Battery. It just saves you 1, 2, 3, 4. Saves you 4 skill points, all it does. And the usual very large Thread of Hope just to get your damage, life, and save you 2 skill points early on for life. And then rush your acrobats like usual. And then for clusters, you only need Overwhelming Malice. If you get on a 4, just to save 3, just make 3 passive points is better, or even 2. You don't really need a second thing on there. Overwhelming Malice is the most important thing, just for more damage. And that's the usual. Wind Dancer, life, damage. Shoot over the Watcher's Eye if you can afford it. Malevolence, damage over time. This is the perfect agony. This is one that Flask gives you where you just click on it to have it all times. It's a lot easier. And then shoot over this way fast as possible to get the skill effect duration. This one makes your Blade Vortex really good. And I'll explain how to level this character as a League Start in the next video, or what I did. But this character went through the campaign under 5 hours, no problem. Because I didn't use Blade Vortex until Act 5. And I used Caustic Arrow until pretty much from Act 1 to 5. So let's go show the map. This build is about 4 million DPS, so it can clear pretty quick once the bleed starts going. The poison, I mean. Probably a little bit. It's probably easier to play than the bleed bow, because you don't actually think as much. Because you just run and go. The only problem with playing this bow is the build and price, if you buy it in the first week, it will go down in price after week 2, so you're going to lose money no matter what. And you have a lot of leech on this build too, which is really nice. That's why health doesn't really move at all. And you do the exploding pops too. So once one enemy dies, it spreads the poison. Poison on a build like the Bleed Boy, you have to make sure you pay attention to mechanics. You can't just face tank anything. You have to make sure you poison, run around. But just check the POB if you want to see early. But we'll go over it more in a couple days when I get this build to 90. Just because it needs more life on the build right now. Because the build should be around 5k. And then boss. So then for this one, we should have actually do this. This up. Totem, totem. This, and poison. And you see a Plague Bear is just killing the boss real quick. And he's dead. If I had another set of kitchen knives, I would probably just switch back to the other side. But it's not needed. And like for this point now, I probably put in... I'll figure out later. So that's pretty much all 3 builds real fast. This is what we're working on. If you want to see more of it, come hit the subscribe button below. Come follow me on Twitch if you want to see more of this. And the camera completely lagged out. Hopefully it's fixed now. Let me see. Give me a couple seconds. Something lagged old computer. There you go. That's fixed again. So if, that'll be the end of these 3 for the beginning. These are level 80 builds. The next one will be level 90 when we get back in here. That's what I'm gonna work on today, pushing all the levels up, so we can see what the builds actually do. We'll get the I'll get all of this done on all 3 characters. I haven't done anything on these. And we'll also get the Cyrus response. We can do Spires on all the characters, the Conquerors, so you can really see what the builds are good or they're crap. And I'll see the good ideas for next league too, if it's worth it or not. And their maps to be clear. So I hope everyone liked the video. If you'd like to see it, subscribe down below. Come on my Twitch, like I said earlier. POBs are all in the description below. Any comments, people put them there, I'll try to answer them. Hope everyone liked the video. Hope to see you in the next one.